Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to yet another edition of Holistic Health. You are, of course, tuned to 1422 medium wave. This is the new Pan-Hellenic voice, and this is Holistic Health Hour. I am Dr. Gabrielides, and I'll be discussing tonight. I'd like to ask and answer the question: is it normal to grow old and get sick? That's what we'll be talking about tonight. Is it normal to grow old and get sick? So stay with us, folks, while I give me a moment while I greet my fellow Greek listeners. I'll be back in a moment and I'll be with you till 8 o'clock tonight. Καλησπέρα σας κυρίες και κύριοι. Είσαστε όπως ξέρετε συντονισμένοι στα 1422 μεσαία κύματα της νέας πανελλήνιας φωνής με την εκπομπή μας Holistic Health. Μαζί σας ο Dr. Παναγιώτης Γαβριηλίδης μέχρι τις 8 η ώρα. Το θέμα μας σήμερα αφορά την υγεία μας. Μείνετε συντονισμένοι μαζί μας και εύχομαι να μάθουμε κάτι εκπαιδευτικό και προληπτικό σήμερα. Alright, my friends. Anti-aging. Aging. What's it all about? What's it all about? Living a long time, my friends, involves more than having the right set of parents and staying clear of accidents. Those are, of course, matters of chance, all right? But living a long time and living healthy involves more than that. It involves matters of choice. For example, the type of food and water we eat and drink. Now, Dr. Alexander Leaf, L-E-A-F, he was a professor at the Harvard Medical School. He hunted out the world's longest living populations and tried to figure out why they were so durable. Things have long changed since he did his research, my friends, because of the polluted world we live in, the toxic soup we live in. Dr. Leaf looked at groups as such, not individual exceptions, you see, because we have them everywhere. He wanted to know, well, are there any groups, are there any populations where as a whole group they live to an old age and are healthy? That was his hypothesis. That was the question of his hypothesis. So he looked at groups, not individual exceptions to a society's norms. To find these groups, Dr. Leaf traveled to 3 remote areas of the planet. The Hunza region in Pakistan, the Vilcabamba region in Ecuador, and to Abkhazia in the old USSR, where men and women routinely saw their 100th birthday and were alive enough to enjoy them. That's the big key, you see. I'm going to come to that in a moment. Dr. Leaf wrote his research, he wrote up his research in the National Geographic, that the 3 widely separated groups have several things in common, he found out. Okay? Here is the scientist finding that people who grow to a ripe old age and were very active, were very healthy, working in the fields. We're talking till age 140, 150, and so on. Some incredible feats. He found that they had several things in common. For example, 1, they all lived in the mountains, usually at high elevations. 2, the second thing he found was that the mountainous terrain had cut them off somewhat from the mainstream of modern life. Indeed, and that is a big key there. The moment any group of primitive people, and Dr. Leaf is not the only one who studied primitive peoples, many other scientists have a very notable one being Dr. Weston Price. Whenever primitive people start to come into contact with so-called civilization and eat civilization's processed foods in the form of your refined white flours, sugars, salts, etc., etc., their health goes out the window in a hurry, my friends. The third thing that these groups had in common is the community gave high status, in other words, respect to the aged, who retained a full role in the community. They were not just palmed off in retirement homes to go and die quietly out of sight and out of mind. The fourth thing that these three groups had in common is they ate lightly, and their diets included little or no meat. The fifth thing that everybody had in common, all these groups had in common, was that their everyday living demanded almost constant endurance type of activity. So, the question I'd like to ask and answer today is, do we also have to go live in the mountains to live a long, healthy, and vigorous life? Because I'd like to make one thing clear, my friends. I am not interested in prolonging life in a wheelchair, or being bedbound, or being so hellishly sick that death would be preferable. I'm not talking about that, okay? What I'm talking about is being 100 years old and playing a vigorous game of basketball alongside 25-year-olds. Yes, that's attractive to me. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Now, going back to Dr. Leaf, the physical capacities of these groups most impressed Dr. Leaf. He wrote, "The old people of all three cultures share a great deal of physical activity." See, just to interject here, my friends, movement is life, stagnation is death. Got to keep your body moving. The traditional, going back to Dr. Leaf, the traditional farming and household practices demanded heavy work, and male and female are involved from early childhood to terminal days. Superimposed on the usual labor involved in farming is the mountainous terrain. Simply traversing the hills on foot during the day's activities sustains a high degree of cardiovascular fitness as well as general muscular tone. Shamed by not being able to keep up with a 106-year-old man on a 6-hour mountainous hike, Dr. Leaf began running when he returned to the United States. He wasn't a mountain farmer and figured this was the next best exercise for him at age 52. At age 52, of course, he could not keep up with a 106-year-old person on a 6-hour mountainous hike. That's phenomenal, my friends. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about being 106 and not knowing who you are. The Kingdom of Hunza, one of these three regions where these old healthy people lived, is situated almost 2 miles high in the Himalayas. Men and women work the fields until well past the age of 100. This is a land of walkers, walking, great exercise, and runners. Anyone from here can cross on foot the single high mountain pass that connects Hunza with the nearest modern settlement 60 miles away. Imagine that. Over and back is a day's journey. Officially, Hunza belongs to Pakistan, but the ties are loose. The land of Hunza is self-contained both physically and emotionally. The people have a separate Hunzakut way of life. Unlike their ever-bickering neighbors on the other side of the mountains, the Hunzakuts haven't been at war in 150 years. Now, interestingly, just across the mountains, life expectancy in India and Pakistan is among the shortest in the world. And yet here are the same kind of people living to these old advanced ages. In Hunza, men routinely were fathering children after 100. For amusement, Hansakuts play a violent form of rule-less polo, with teams performing non-stop until one side or the other has scored 9 goals. Volleyball is also popular, and you will regularly see 70-year-old men playing alongside boys. Yeah, that's what I call health. That's what I want to get into today. The ins and outs of good health at an old age. Why I want to show that it's not normal to grow old and be sick. That's not normal. That is a direct result of breaking the laws of health because of the polluted food we eat, because of the polluted water we drink, and because of the polluted air we breathe. And of course, with all the medication we pour down our gullets, whether it's prescription or over the counter, deadly stuff. Alright, so I'm going to kind of do a series on what it means to really grow old and be in vigorous health. Foreign scientists in recent years have tried hard to explain the Hansakut's health, happiness, and longevity. Probably a combination of factors is responsible. Hansa's sunshine is clear, its air is pure, and farming has been entirely organic with no artificial fertilizers, deadly stuff, or insecticides, or pesticides, or fungicides, or herbicides being used. Because all our fruit and vegetables are loaded with that stuff, loaded with those toxins. Those of you who listen to me regularly know that. That's why I don't talk about food. And even if you find organic food, the moment you put it in a pot to cook it, you kill all the enzymes, all 80% of the vitamins. So that's why I stick to natural medicine, which is my specialty for treating health problems and for keeping healthy. Hansa vegetables included things like lettuce, onions, cabbage, and carrots. These were eaten raw, or if cooked, they were set over a low fire for short periods of time. See, they knew the value of not killing your food by cooking it. This, of course, saves valuable minerals in the food and preserves its health-giving vitamins. Meat was eaten only a few times a year and was considered a luxury. Goats, sheep, and yaks provided milk and butter, which were taken in limited quantities. Dr. Alexander Leaf also studied the people of Vilcabamba, located high in the Andes Mountains, where 1 in 64 people lived to be over 100 years old, as compared to 1 in 7,000 in the United States. It's quite a dramatic difference. Only 1 in 7,000 people in the US lived to be 100 years old, whereas in the Andes, in the Vilcabamba, people of Vilcabamba, 1 in 64 lived to be over 100 years old. These people live past 100. They have no obesity, no heart disease, no Alzheimer's, and no cancers. Unheard of. As a group, as a people, not exceptions. In 1969, Dr. Miguel Salvador, who was the president of Ecuador's Society of Cardiologists, on a government mission with 8 other doctors, thoroughly examined 628 extremely old people in Vilcabamba. The medical group found men of 90 still plowing the fields side by side with younger men. Women of 100 and more still gathering strands of sheep's wool or working in the local bakery, and other aged men treading the muddy ooze to make adobe, the material from which Vilcabambans build their homes, their houses. More astonishing, the Salvador mission found a total absence of serious ailments. Notably, heart disease wasn't there. These findings have been more recently confirmed by Dr. David Davis of University College in London, and of course Dr. Alexander Leaf of Harvard University, both gerontologists of note. Gerontologist is a specialist in aged people, senior citizens. Vilcabamba has now become popularly known as the island of immunity or island of health and longevity. Vibrant health at 70, 80, and 90 years of age, my friends, as I said earlier, is not a matter of genes and or accident. It is a matter of committing to live according to certain immutable or eternal laws of health. Now, I realize, of course, that some people live to healthy old ages of 90 and they smoke and they drink and they eat what they like, etc., etc. I know that. But these people are far from the norm, okay? They are oddities. They are anomalies. We can't emulate them. If the average person tries that, they end up in a sickly grave long before they reach 90. You know that. The world's statistics are very clear on that. I had the misfortune to visit Joburg Jen this morning. My word. Had to find parking is an issue of note. Place is crawling with sick people. And so it is with all hospitals. Okay? So the norm is to have some sort of chronic degenerative disease. And the older you are, the worse it is. And many young people are plagued as well now, okay? So it is an anomaly. Don't come and tell me, yeah, well, I know the old so-and-so, he was 90 and he smoked and drank and ate whatever he liked and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you try it. Hospitals are full of people who try it, okay? It's, knowledge and understanding and wisdom, my friends. Chronic degenerative disease is now the rule and not the exception. Just look around you. So for the rest of the program, I'm going to share with you as many of the secrets of a long and healthy life as I can. And that's my goal tonight. And the first area I'm going to address is our arteries. That is a very, very important area to address. Our arteries, our blood vessels, our capillaries, the whole blood network throughout the body. Let's take a look then what the food and water we drink do to our arteries. In a book entitled The Choice is Clear by Dr. Banik, B-A-N-I-K, in that book, Dr. Banik shocks the world with one of the real secrets of longevity. In the question and answer section of the book, he answers this question. In regard to your visit to Hansa, in your opinion, what was their main secret of longevity? Dr. Banik says, and I quote, I observed the following. They ate most of their fruits and vegetables raw and raised them on organic soil. Very important. Fruits and vegetables are about 90% natural water of exceptionally high purity. See what he means there, to interject, my friends, is that fruits and vegetables contain, that they are made up of 90% distilled water. Understand that, okay? Because they take the water and they purify it. So 90% of a fruit, 90% of a vegetable is this wonderful, delicious, healthy, distilled water of exceptionally high purity, understand? Okay, back to Dr. Banik. Along with that, he says, they drank glacier water, which is very low in inorganic minerals. Now, my friends, I'm going to tell you a lot more why the inorganic minerals in our water, in tap water, and in practically all of bottled water is a huge problem that leads to premature aging, to chronic degenerative disease, and premature death. I'm going to go into detail about that, so just bear with me. Back to Dr. Banik. Wine, he says, was their main beverage, which again is comprised of natural water of very high purity in the grape, you see. So their percentage of naturally distilled water quality was 90% greater than ours. I considered this an important secret which I nearly missed. An important secret which I nearly missed, says Dr. Bannock. Can it be, Dr. Bannock asks, can it be that arthritis, kidney stones, gallstones, arteriosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, enlarged hearts, emphysema, obesity, constipation, cataracts, even glaucoma, diabetes, can it be that they all stem from one common cause? By the way, you can carry on with whatever your illness is, okay? Can it be? Unbelievable? Let's see. Let's see. What would this common cause be? We all use it every day, my friends. Can you guess what it is? From the baby's first cry to the old person's last breath. What is it? Water. H2O. Water. The one element we need the most and suspect the least. If this shocks you, do not be surprised, as most people are still unaware of this aging process and indulge in it freely. Multitudes, my friend, suffer from the many degenerative diseases and unknowingly contribute to this cause daily by drinking polluted water, tap water, and bottled water. Same thing, bottled water in fact is worse than tap water. Somehow the shots, the pills, shots is an American expression for injections, pills, and balanced diets add only brief spurts to well-being. The arthritis can get a little worse, the arteries a little harder, the gallstones and kidney stones a little larger, the eyes a little dimmer, the hearing more complex, sugar starts to appear in the urine, digestion slows down, constipation calls for stronger laxatives, and waistlines get a little larger. It's a never-ending cycle of feeling just a little worse than the day before, my friends. So, is it all bad news? No way, no way. Stay tuned. There is lots of hope ahead. I will share it with you. Let me cheer you up. There is good news in store for you. There are happy years ahead of you if the greatest little word in the English language, if you decide to do something about your health. If your stiff joints may begin to loosen, your arteries become more elastic, blood pressures can become more normal, heart action firmer and more powerful, your lungs can expand with fresh air, kidney and gallstones can gradually dissolve. Imagine that. Gradually and painlessly, without surgery, dissolving your kidney and gallstones. I'll tell you how. Never to appear again. That lost appetite can also reappear, and those aggravating stomach pains can vanish. All water, my friends, is not the same. There are at least 9 different kinds of water. Some kinds can harden your arteries, from gallstones and kidney stones, bring on early senility, and all the other diseases I already mentioned. Another kind works in reverse. What one type of water carries into your system, the other type of water carries out. Very important that you drink the correct type of water. Because even though you may be on a natural medicine program and drinking your vitamins and all that, if you're drinking the wrong kind of water, it's like rowing a boat with one oar. You're gonna go around in circles. Water is the other oar of the boat. Water is 50% of our health. The other 50% is the nutrition, the natural medicine. By that I mean the vitamins, the minerals, the trace elements, the essential fatty acids, the enzymes, the glyconutrients. I stock these wonderful nutrients, etc., etc. Okay? That's the other half of it. So, the different kinds of water, very quickly, are hard water, raw water, boiled water, soft water, rainwater, snow water, filtered water, deionized water, reverse osmosis water, and distilled water. All are particular kinds of water, but remember this: only 2 of these 9 kinds of water is good for you and me: reverse osmosis water and distilled water. Alright, my friends, you're going to hear a lot more about that after the break. We are halfway. Stay with us here on 1422 medium wave of the new Pan-Hellenic voice. I'm going to give my number in a minute, and I'll give it again at the end. Those of you who are interested, pen and paper. We are going to go to a brief commercial break, and we'll be right back with Holistic Health Hour. This is Dr. Gabrielides. Alright, here's my number. I do consult as a natural medicine practitioner. You can contact me on 076 189 6690. I repeat, 076 189 6690. Stay with us. Θα πάμε τώρα, κυρίες και κύριοι, στο συνηθισμένο μας διαφημιστικό διάλειμμα και θα είμαστε και πάλι μαζί σε λίγα λεπτά. Θα σας δώσω τώρα το τηλέφωνο μου σε ένα λεπτό. Ετοιμαστείτε όσοι από εσάς θέλετε να επικοινωνήσετε μαζί μου, όσοι από εσάς θέλετε να με συμβουλευτείτε για διάφορες θεραπείες με natural medicine. Λοιπόν, μείνετε μαζί μας εδώ στα 1422 μεσαϊκύματα της νέας Πανελλήνιας Φωνής. Θα συνεχίσουμε το πρόγραμμά μας Holistic Health Hour μετά από το διαφημιστικό διάλειμμα. Λοιπόν, το τηλέφωνο μου θα το δώσω πάλι στο τέλος της εκπομπής. Είναι 076 189 6690. Επαναλαμβάνω, 076 189 6690. Μείνετε μαζί μας. You're tuned to 1422 medium wave. This is the new Pan-Hellenic voice. I'm Dr. Gabrielides. This is Holistic Health Hour, second half. We started at 7. We're going till 8 o'clock. Tonight, we're asking and answering, why do we grow old and why do we get sick? And can we get to a point where we don't suffer from that? That is the $1,000,000 question tonight. Okay, my friends, I was talking about all the different kinds of water before the break. Let me just say a few more words about that. Hard water is water containing excessive lime salts, that is, carbonates and sulfates of calcium and magnesium, inorganic stuff, you see, inorganic stuff. Sodium, iron, copper, silicon, nitrates, chlorides, viruses, bacteria, chemicals, and many other harmful inorganic minerals and chemicals are also present. Most all the water we drink comes from public water systems or private wells and bottled water. These are all classified as hard waters. Hard waters. Any water that has run through or over ground is hard water to some degree. See, the longer it filters through the soil, the harder it gets, and the more harmful it may become for us. Some cities take water from rivers and lakes or mountain reservoirs. They call that kind of water soft water. But soft water from such sources is soft only in comparison to water which is harder. Each year the Earth's rivers carry to the sea 5 billion tons of dissolved minerals, inorganic minerals, and other unnumbered millions of tons of carbon compounds and factory pollutants. And because of that, ocean life is on the decrease, according to the famous Jacques Cousteau. There are also the hard waters which are called mineral waters. That is, waters from certain mineral springs. And they're no good, let me tell you. well known for their medicinal effects. Practically all kinds of bottled water is hard water. The reason mineral waters, just to go back to that, have the so-called medicinal effect is because the body in self-defense tries to throw off the excess minerals which invaded as intruding foreign deposits. What is actually occurring is not medicinal at all, because it is a form of dysentery, believe it or not, as the organism, your body, tries to eliminate and expel this unusual condition. To subsist on this type of water is very detrimental, my friends, contrary to popular opinion. Now, raw water is water which has not been treated in any way. It may be hard or soft, as hard as lime water or as soft as rainwater. Raw water contains millions of viruses and bacteria and is densely inhabited in every drop. Chemicals dumped into our rivers cause cancer, according to the Environmental Protection Agency of the United States. True. True. Properly chlorinated water does kill most germs and viruses, but, and here is the big fat but, it also kills the cells in our bodies. Chlorine is a deadly poison to the human body, make no mistake. The only safe rule to follow individually is to drink distilled water and or reverse osmosis water, which will eliminate both chlorine and pathogenic organisms and the inorganic minerals. Now, lots of people ask me about boiled water. My friends, boiled water is not the answer. Why? Boiling removes none of the inorganic minerals, although it does kill the bacteria, of course, in raw water if boiled at least 20 minutes. But the dead bodies of these germs are carried into your system when the boiled water is used, when you drink it. Such dead materials furnish a fertilized soil for rapid and lusty propagation, that means multiplication, of germs already in the body. By drinking boiled water, one may avoid live disease germs, but still takes on bacterial soil for the growth of other bacteria. While raw water is an aquarium filled with deadly organisms, boiled water is a graveyard of dead germs. Now, what about rainwater? I'm going to go through all the kinds of waters. And stay with me. This has great bearing on aging. See, just in one sentence or two to put you in the picture why I'm going into detail about all these different kinds of waters that are no good for us. The inorganic minerals that they contain are deposited into our arteries, into our blood vessels, into our capillaries, even the tiny little teeny little capillaries in the eyes, and they start clogging those vessels up. That is what causes premature aging, degenerative disease, and premature death, as well, of course, as the polluted food we eat. I'll tell you in one sentence. Those of you who are interested, call me for the CD of previous programs that I've done, but really, if you are under the illusion that by eating 3 square meals a day you're going to keep your health, you are indeed under an illusion. Our food, even fruit and veggies, is horribly polluted, beyond repair. Beyond repair. Our only defense has come to natural medicine. The vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes, the trace elements, the amino acids, the omega-3s. And you've got to be under the guidance of a professional who knows what kinds of nutrients to use, because most nutrients out there, most vitamins out there are synthetic. They're inorganic. They're synthetic. The body cannot use them. The same thing with these inorganic minerals in water. The body cannot use them, so they just clog up your arteries and your blood vessels and your capillaries, aging you, making you sick. Alright? Okay. Rainwater. Now, if you drink this, just in one sentence so that you know where we're going. If you drink distilled water or reverse osmosis water, every glass you drink dissolves those inorganic minerals that are deposited throughout your body from head to foot in all your arteries, your capillaries, your blood vessels, etc., etc., etc. Do you understand? Kidney stones, gallstones, etc. They slowly wear away. The distilled water and the reverse osmosis water slowly dissolves them and eliminates them through the normal channels. Understand that, my friends. It's vital, please. This good water, along with the natural medicine that I stock and that I keep talking about, is our defense against illness, is what will give us vibrant health, is what will heal us when we get sick. Not the polluted food we eat. Even if you eat organic food, the moment you put it in a pot, you kill all the goodness. Okay? Rainwater, which has been distilled by the heat of the sun, should contain no mineral matter and no germs. But when it falls from the clouds as rain, it falls through air filled with bacteria, dust, smoke, chemicals, mud, and minerals. Everyday industry, cars, etc., factories, dump 13 million tons of toxins into our environment every day. Not every year, every day. We pollute this world at the rate of 13 million tons of toxins. Is it any wonder we are so sick? By the time rainwater reaches the earth as rainwater, it is so saturated with decaying matter, dirt, and chemicals that its color becomes a yellowish white. If rainwater is allowed to stand, it becomes filthy because of the rotting animal matter in it. I discuss it only because some nature faddists, some nature fanatics, advise the use of rainwater as the only natural water. They don't know what they're talking about, okay? They don't know what they're talking about. The real truth is it is filled with toxins and dead organisms and pollution, as I just explained to you. Okay, what about snow? Snow water is melted snow. It too picks up minerals, chemicals, and radioactive fallout even, such as strontium-90. Now remember, the minerals that they pick up, that is in all tap water and bottled water, you have to be a plant, you have to be a tree to take those inorganic minerals and turn them into living minerals. That's the problem. That's why they clog up our blood system, our arteries, our capillaries, because the body cannot utilize them. It cannot use them. Now the kidneys filter out between 60 to 70% of those inorganic minerals every day. But what about, the 20 to 30% that the kidneys do not filter out? You see, that adds up until slowly you become stiffer and stiffer and stiffer. One lady was in a circus in Washington, D.C., was known as the Stone Lady. She got to the point where she could only move her eyes. Now, please, that's not going to happen to you and me. Please, this is a rare exception, okay? She was in a circus, for Pete's sake. But that's what did it to her, the inorganic minerals in water. She got to the point where you could drive a nail through her flesh and she could not feel a thing. She could not move. The only thing she could move was her eyes. She had literally turned into stone. Unbelievable, isn't it? Alright. Snow is frozen rain, my friends. Freezing does not destroy bacteria. Snow looks white and clean, but it contains as many germs, minerals and pollutants as rainwater. Remember, those of you who've seen so, do you remember the dirt left from melting snow in the spring? How the dirt of what has melted forms on top of the snow which is not yet melted? Try melting the cleanest snow, then note the filth in the water. Each snowflake contains some form of air pollution. Now, distilled water is water which has been turned into vapor, so that virtually all its impurities are left behind. That's as good as it's going to get on the planet. And that's what I'm advocating. That's what I'm inviting you to do tonight. To drink distilled water or reverse osmosis water. Okay, so it's turned into vapor. Then by condensation, it is turned back to pure water. Distillation, my friends, is the single most effective method of water purification. In a manner of speaking, distillation is nature's way. The weather of the world is created in the tropics, where half the heat reaching the earth falls on land and water masses. Here, heat energy is stored within water vapor through the process of evaporation, nature's distillery. When the jet streams return ocean water to inland areas, they do so without sea salts and minerals, all of which have been left behind. Nowadays you'll hear a lot about reverse osmosis as well, okay? In this process, that's the other kind of water I recommend, reverse osmosis. In this process, water is purified by forcing a portion of the raw water through a semi-permeable membrane. Reverse osmosis removes a high percentage of the dissolved solids as well as other contaminants, and the result is very close to the purity of distilled water. That's important because distilled water is expensive. So the most practical thing to do is to install a reverse osmosis filter in your home. I've made a deal with a company for my clients. They've quoted me 4,500 rand to install the filter. Includes a filter plus a shower head with a filter. Very important. All installed, 4,500 rand. Contact me if you're interested. I've been quoted as much as 10,500 rand by other companies and everything in between. So, distilled water. This is reverse osmosis water is the most economic way to go, as distilled water is quite expensive. Also, you can't distill your shower water, but with reverse osmosis, you can get a shower head with a filter. This company will provide that for you. Okay, distilling water turns it into vapor. When we distill water, it's turned into vapor, and then, through condensation, as I say, back again into pure water. Now, rising vapor cannot carry minerals and other dissolved solids. It will not carry disease germs, dead or alive. The secret is that the vapor rises between all the suspended particles and chemicals in the air. When this condensation occurs as falling rain, it picks up airborne pollutants. Not so in a vented distiller, where most of them are eliminated. So if pure distilled water is boiled in a tea kettle, this is very interesting by the way, you should have seen my tea kettle. It looked just like yours before I started using reverse osmosis water, filled with calcium carbonate. Could not see the element. But now that I've began using reverse osmosis water, the element in my tea kettle is sparkling clean and shiny. There's not a trace of calcium carbonate and all the other deleterious inorganic minerals, you see, which were going inside my body, making me old and sick before my time. Alright, so if you use good water, no calcium or minerals of any kind will collect to coat the inside of the kettle, even though you use the same kettle for years and years. Okay? In fact, in about a week or so, the good water, the reverse osmosis water or distilled water, should dissolve all the inorganic minerals on the element of your kettle, and it will be sparkling clean again. So my friends, this is one of the world's greatest secrets of not growing old before your time and not getting sick. Distilled water and or reverse osmosis water is water of the purest kind. It is odorless, colorless, and tasteless. The natural purpose of water is to regulate temperature and to act as a solvent. In nature, water in evaporation is so fine that your eye cannot perceive it as it is drawn up into the clouds. Then it falls as rain, keeping the earth from being parched and burned. As a solvent, it dissolves rocks and soil. It figures in the transport of nutrients into plant life. In the human body, the good water that I'm talking about, reverse osmosis water and distilled water, it fills similar functions. It regulates the temperature of our body by helping take off the extra heat resulting from an intake of some 3,000 calories of food each day. Water keeps the body from burning up. It carries waste products from the body. I'm going to continue with this subject, my friends, next week for sure, as part of my goal to share with you the secrets of staying young and healthy even though you're 90, 100, 120. Alright, because why will I carry on next time? Well, we have run out of time. That is why. Thank you for listening, my friends. We've come to the end of the road for tonight. Tune in again next Tuesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on 1422 medium wave of the new Pan-Hellenic voice. I do consult as a natural medicine practitioner. Those of you who wish to consult me, pen and paper, quick. My telephone number is 076 189 6690. I repeat, 076 189 6690. CDs of this program and past programs are available from me. Contact me if you're interested. Also, if you have a group that you would like me to give a talk to, let me know. I'll be happy to oblige, and I do those talks gratis for free. Till next time, my friends, take care. Those of you who want to hear me on a philosophical note, tune in to 1422 medium wave right here every Monday from 12 noon till 1 p.m. From me, Dr. Gabrielides. I bid thee adieu. Have a good week, and we'll speak next time. Λοιπόν, κυρίες και κύριοι, φτάσαμε στο τέλος της εκπομπής μας και για σήμερα. Θα είμαι και πάλι μαζί σας την επόμενη Τρίτη από τις 7 μέχρι τις 8 το βράδυ, εδώ στα 1422 μεσαία κύματα της Νέας Πανελλήνιας Φωνής. Όσοι από εσάς θέλετε να με συμβουλευτείτε για διάφορες θεραπείες με Natural Medicine, μπορείτε να επικοινωνήσετε μαζί μου στο τηλέφωνο 076 189 6690. Επαναλαμβάνω, 076 189 6690. Επίσης μπορώ να σας προμηθεύσω CDs αυτού του προγράμματος και όλων των προηγουμένων προγραμματών μου. Όπως επίσης δίνω διαλέξεις για Holistic Health στην αγγλική. Εάν έχετε ένα group που ενδιαφέρεται για μια τέτοια διάλεξη, μην διστάσετε να επικοινωνήσετε μαζί μου. Οι διαλέξεις μου είναι εντελώς δωρεάν. Αυτά λοιπόν, αγαπητοί μου φίλοι. Μην ξεχάσετε τη Δευτέρα από τις 12 μέχρι τις 1 το μεσημέρι. Μπορείτε να με ακούσετε τότε. Καλή σας νύχτα, καλή εβδομάδα και προσέχετε την υγεία σας. Σας παρακαλώ από μένα, τον Dr. Παναγιώτη Gabrielides. Αντίο σας.